Hello, my dear friends. I'm Michaela. Welcome to my astrology channel, Today Energy. This is a general yearly forecast for 2023 for all of you born with ascendant, sun, and or moon in the sign of Leo. Welcome, my dear Leos. Now, 2023 promises to be quite a dynamic year because three slow outer planets are changing signs, and the karmic lunar nodes will do the same. So there will be some social shifts on a global scale, but of course we are here because we're interested in our personal life development and to see if those transits will affect you the most. And personally, you have to be familiar somehow with your natal astrological chart. Because in this video, I will be talking about planets, their transits through signs, through your houses of your natal chart, and I will be pointing specific degrees. So it's great if you know the very specific location, the degrees of your sun, moon, rising sign, and of course, even better, of the rest of your planets and points. For that reason, you can, if you haven't yet done so, you can go to astrological websites like astro.com, or the one I like very much and use, it's astroseek.com, and build your natal chart according to your date, place, and very importantly, time of birth. In this video, I will be sharing with you this screenshot of a day of 2023, somewhere at the beginning of the year. This is the chart of transits of several planets and the karmic nodes. The chart is built from the perspective of a Leo, whether Leo rising or Leo sun or Leo moon. Leo becomes your first house. This is a chart built according to the whole sign system, which makes Leo your first house, since here are your ascendant or your sun or moon, and then in zodiacal order go the zodiac signs and also the houses, the areas of life. Now, I must say that I use this whole sign system for my general forecasts in YouTube, which I do, which of course will resonate with probably 80–90% of you, of my viewers. But in my personal consultations, when I do the natal chart analysis or the yearly forecasts for you, I work with a Placidus system, which of course it's very much linked to your time of birth, and it can change the position of the beginnings of your houses, so the house cusps, hence the location also of your planets through your natal houses of your natal charts. Okay, but let's use this chart. I cannot animate it, but I will be pointing you with my mouse what points or planets I'm talking about, where they're going to move, what they are going to do in 2023, and how this will affect you, Leos. Okay, so at the beginning of the year, we have a shift of energies. On the 12th of January, Mars, after being retrograde for the last 2.5 months, which is very uncomfortable position for the planet of action, of enthusiasm, of energy, of speed, of going for what you want. And finally, on the 12th of January, Mars goes direct. But of course, the days around the 12th of January are pretty intense because Mars then is slowest. He's like, frozen on the sky from our earthly perspective. So try to avoid obviously conflicts, confrontations, especially at home, maybe with parents, with family members, and also be careful on the road or dealing with your teachers or authority figures like state representatives or representatives of the law. But once Mars starts gaining momentum, gaining speed, then several areas of your life will feel like unstuck. Things there will move, forward, which is great. And such areas are like your fourth house, because you see, it falls in Scorpio, and Scorpio is ruled by Mars. So we're talking here about more active communication with your family members, with your parents, dealing with property matters, with citizenship, with papers and documents related to place of living, or moving forward with relocation procedures, and overall maybe being more active and proactive at home, buying, selling, renting property, business with property, and so on, gets unstuck. Ninth house, well, traveling possibilities, court cases, public speeches, showing yourself like a specialist, like an expert, inspiring other people or being inspired by your mentors, your idols, gurus, dealing with your professors, studying, teaching, publishing, all goes way better from now on, because also Mars rules your ninth house, everything connected to dealing with the states, authorities, with important documents, relocations, and most importantly also your optimism, your faith, your life direction. Now you can much better know where you're headed. Like if you felt a bit less fiery lately, yeah, because you're a fire sign, enthusiastic, optimistic, you like self-expression, you like maybe stage performances, you like to shine bright, you like to know where you are headed, to have a goal in life. And while Mars was retrograde, those all was more unclear or intense possibly. So now it goes way better. And you see that Mars makes these maneuvers in your 11th house, Gemini, 11th house for you. So much more passion and activities together with other friends, with groups of people, finding your like-minded people in your tribe, social events, online activities, teaching maybe in front of people, other people. As well, 11th house is the gains and recognitions from our career and work efforts. So that's great, that can come for you. And also 11th house is as well our vision for the future, dreams and goals. So here you can much more assertively and proactively chase your dreams and work on fulfilling your wishes and goals. On the 8th of March, we have an important transit of the planet Saturn. After the last 3 years in Aquarius, on the 8th of March, Saturn goes into Pisces, where he will stay till February 2026. Last time Saturn was in Pisces between 1993 and 1996. So maybe you would like to remember what was going on back then in your life, according to the topics I will mention in a moment, because similar themes, feelings, topics in your life might now repeat due to the same key players, yeah, Saturn and Pisces, your 8th house. And Saturn cycle is 28 to 30 years. So it's interesting to follow what's going on with your life every 28, 30 years. What lessons do we learn? And frankly, first, let's speak about the transit of Saturn in Aquarius, that is your 7th house. Every time I check what's going on in one of our cardinal houses, 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th, because this is like the core of our natal charts, personalities, and the core of our life, basically the most important spheres of life. And 7th house talks about our partnerships and relationships, contractual relationships we have with people or institutions. And Saturn is the great inspector. He revises the area of life through which he transits for 2.5 years usually. So he was revising your relationships. Maybe you were communicating and dealing very closely with Saturnian type of people, let's say older than you, a bit more detached, cooler, more rigid, more strict, more thrifty, with higher social status maybe. Saturn likes to freeze things and narrow things down. So maybe he narrowed down your social interactions or your circle of communication, because Saturn is the planet of time and of karma. So he's slow. So your contacts, your relationships maybe have developed pretty slowly until now, with a lot of caution, needing a lot of time, a lot of effort to establish some trust between you and other people, maybe clients, maybe advisors, consultants, or personal partners, especially if they were a bit more like detached, and a bit colder. But at the same time, Saturn likes to clean everything mediocre or superficial, everything that is not real, not true, that does not stand the tests of time, of difficult circumstances. So honestly, after such transit, only the most loyal, faithful people stay with you, and they might be few, but the real ones, right? Because Saturn doesn't like just being a social butterfly around. But yeah, maybe you have felt a bit more restricted, more lonely, because generally Leo likes to have fun, to shine, and Saturn is your natural enemy, right? You're ruled by the sun, it's the light, it's the life, and Saturn, before the discovery of Pluto, was the planet of death, of cold, of isolation. It's so far away from the sun, right? So it's kind of the dark side. Maybe Saturn showed you the dark side of people. Maybe he showed you the dark side of you, because seventh house and other people are a mere reflection of what's going on in our internal world, in our subconsciousness, whether the beautiful qualities, the reliability, for instance, the hard work on relationships, dedication, faithfulness, or of course maybe some fears of commitment, fears of relationships, fears of abandonment, criticism. Maybe Saturn represented people who would be very severe to you, not pamper you, but like criticize you, not allowing you to have faith just and have fun and believe in yourself. But again, Saturn wants to be very practical, very pragmatic, very realistic. So having such people near you, it's good as advisors. They will not sugarcoat the situation, but give you the naked truth, basically. And I could appreciate that, I believe. It might be more reserved, definitely. Saturn might show you where you have outgrown a person, a relationship. So clean these people who definitely no longer have common path and common vision with you. So the test of relationships could be as well through distancing with your partner. Maybe you had long-term, long distance relationships, online relationships, and then you basically had to decide whether that was a good choice for you, or you need something warmer and closer. Also, mind you that you see, like, this is the upper hemisphere of your natal chart, and Saturn in 7th house, he started transiting Aquarius in, I believe, March 2020. So he started structuring your public life, your image, your reputation, your role in the society. And 14 years he will be going from your descendant to your ascendant, when you will start a new 28, 30 years personal Saturnian cycle of self-discipline, growth, and maturation process. But now probably maturation regarding your relationship with other people, and later with the world at large. The point of Saturn is basically to make you and your partners whole, separate individuals, not like being crutches of one another, but be complete and establish some serious, committed, responsible relationships. This is what Saturn wants, and definitely long-term relationships. So, maybe some of you felt more isolated, but others Other Leos maybe got engaged or signed some important agreements or opened their own business or got some very stable long-term clients or very supportive, maybe few, but supportive fans, supporters, or maybe it came to a marriage, yeah, because Saturn is material and Saturn solidifies. So maybe even with pre-matrimonial agreement. Of course, maybe Saturn also brought separations and divorces, but remember, is the karma. If you met someone throughout this transit, it was maybe meant to be, and it was a karmic relationship with a soul that you knew from your past lives, and now someone has to pay a debt to the other, whether in a positive way or maybe like through a bit more harsh experience. And karma is not to punish us here. Karma is to basically us to reap what we sow or what we have sown in a previous life. So it's just a simple, and it's very strict, right? It's precise, like Saturn shows us the cause and effect chain of logic, basically. Everything that happens with us through Saturnian lessons, it's because we have kind of provoked it somehow. And in this case, it's about how do we relate to other people, what we allow to other people. Do we have solid boundaries? Are we too strict or critical to others? Do we allow them to be such with us, criticizing and harsh? Or do we need stability in relationships? Are we faithful enough? Are we serious enough? And so on. And then Saturn goes into Pisces, thus starts revising and cleaning your 8th house. Well, that's a deep topic and deep house. On one hand, 8th house is about passive incomes, passive finances, basically, shared resources. It's the income of our spouses or business partners, what they invest into us, what they earn, and Saturn might narrow down this money coming to us, or investments or presents. Yeah, so Saturn, remember, is like an auditor. So it's very important when he crosses our 8th house to be very clear about your taxes, insurances, debts, because everything that is owned to you will be paid to you, will be given to you, like, I don't know, alimony, or sharing property after a divorce, or if you have studied hard, you'll get a scholarship, right? So remember, Saturn is the karma. It gives according to our own efforts and actions. You will receive financial support from the state if you lost your provider, your husband, your clients, or your job. But you have to be also very serious to what you take from others. Maybe you will take smaller loans or mortgages, but this is just for you to know that you will be able to pay them back and not become dependable on someone else financially, from a bank either. Or maybe you will be getting lesser amounts of money, but more regularly. Yeah, Saturn likes continuous work, persistency. So it might be smaller amounts, but let's say every month for sure. Again, maybe you will meet your karmic debtors, people you owe something, or they are in debt for you. So now this will be kind of harmonized through the 8th house experiences. It might be financial, or it might be emotional and psychological. In 8th house, we deepen and develop deeper our relationships created in the 7th house. In personal life, it might be sharing a property together, sharing incomes, finances, having a child together, children. And here Saturn really can give you pregnancy. And again, if you get pregnant when Saturn is in your 8th house, that means it was meant to be. Your child is a soul who wanted to meet you, to learn some lessons by being in your family, your child, or teach you some lessons through coming into life through you. Our children teach us great lessons, right? On the other hand, if you try to get pregnant with in vitro procedures and so on, and it's just not happening in the next 2.5 years, then again, it means it's just not the right time yet. Maybe you're not with the right partner. So you have to ask yourself questions about trust, about intimacy. Work deeply with your emotions and your subconscious. 8th house is a scorpionic house. So you know, Saturn here is like merciless, no mercy, because he digs deep, makes you dig deep in your subconscious, takes out the skeletons from the closet, the monsters from your shadow. It might be issues of control, issues of jealousy, past traumas, holding grudges onto someone else. And so Saturn here asks you to work very seriously, maybe with a serious specialist, a psychologist, or turn to esoteric knowledge like astrology, tarot, philosophy, anything that helps you be brave and reach deep inside you, make self scrutiny, self audit, self-analysis, in order to, of course, heal and purify, to have awareness of your subconscious needs and fears and traumas, to heal them. But first you need to meet with them, right? Not to push them aside, not to ignore them, not to fear them. To fear the fear is the worst. To fear being vulnerable, you still stay vulnerable and dependable on this fears. So you have to regain control on your life. And maybe that fear does not allow you to relax enough and to have your own marriage, happy relationships, or children and family. And it's good that we see here also transiting Neptune. In 2023, he will cover the ground between 22 and 27 degrees Pisces, because Neptune softens this harsh and rigid and strict Saturnian influence. So Neptune still in 8th house allows you to have faith, to find unconditional love towards yourself, towards others. Most importantly, to forgive, to let go once Saturn digs deep and takes to the surface the toxicity, the poisons within you, mostly like from the past or from the subconscious. So it's very good to have here Neptune. You can work through some art therapies. You can like esoterics related to imagination and images, like tarot cards or oracle cards. You can become clairvoyant and see deep inside of people. 8th house is about researching, and it's about surgeries, it's about x-rays. So you might have those to get rid of something unhealthy and nasty from your body, or you can be like an x-ray person and see into other people and maybe even help them become stronger, more confident, regain self-control. But first you have to purge yourself and go through this catharsis, right? And get out of this transit more purified, clean, stronger, more confident, and have self-control over your life, your finances. Again, maybe you will decide who is your true intimate partner. For people who like to go around and experience love relationships a lot with others, Saturn might restrict your, let's say, libido here and introduce maybe this celibacy or abstinency, like less unhealthy relationships and pleasures. Okay, then let's check the transits of Uranus. In 2023, he will move from 15th degree of Taurus to 23rd degree of Taurus. It's important transit because look at that. It's in another cardinal house of your natal chart, in your 10th house of career, of social status, of work, of reputation. You will feel it the most this year if your MCIC line, it's an axis, is exactly between 15th and 23rd degree of Taurus. Also, Uranus will be squaring you if your sun, moon, or rising sign is between these degrees of Leo. Now, let's see. If we talk about Uranus touching and triggering by square your your ascendant descendant line, then truly there might be some changes in your behavior, how you express yourself, your self-esteem, and your relationships. Because it's a square, it's an intense influence. Like you and your partner might feel that there is a need of change, there is a need of liberation, of freedom, of some space at the very least. And it might come as someone needs to go abroad to work, or someone needs to dedicate more time to profession and career or to family life. So a bit, like separation might happen with a partner. But it's important here not to burn bridges, not to be rebellious just for the sake of the rebellion, not to be too unpredictable, too chaotic, too harsh, too stubborn. So of course, you need more excitement. You need to develop together with your partner, to have same vision, to go together hand by hand like friends, to support each other, but definitely to grow together. And of course, if you felt stuck and stagnating and under pressure and under control or in toxic relationships, then Uranus might liberate you or your partner from this situation, from this partnership. Maybe you will break a contract with an old employer who didn't want you to prosper in work and get acknowledged and grow in position and in career. Maybe you will change your activity overall, your profession. Especially if Uranus triggers your MC, there might be really either big modernization, new technologies, digitalization can come to your work. You might use more online or work remotely or work more with IT specialist or new technologies, establish a startup, become a freelancer. When Uranus was rolling on my MC, I delved deeper into astrology and I started my astrological practice. Definitely, you might need to have more independence at your work. You might shock or surprise people. Remember that MC is the most visible point of all the natal chart. So definitely here you are under the limelights. You're maybe having professional speeches and or I don't know, performances. And here you might show your true self, because Uranus wants from us authenticity. Yes, you might be criticized, you might feel misunderstood, like the black sheep, like the lonely genius. But on the other hand, the more authentic you are, the more like-minded people and true followers you can find. So definitely, there might be some sudden changes of life direction. You might experience some unusual career vocation, like in my case, you see astrology, but it might be something very modern, like modern technologies. And remember that MC is always linked to IC, and especially also if Uranus somehow triggers your moon, then there might be changes also regarding your family life, place of living. You might move abroad, change your passport, change the name in your passport. Definitely there might be divorces, but also maybe sudden marriages. Uranus likes surprises, and there might be also like suddenly you get married to your best friend or to your long-term business partner. But if Uranus squares your moon, then you might feel quite unstable, like the rug has been pulled from under your feet, because moon is the routine. Moon is the feeling of emotional safety and stability. But with the square from Uranus, there might be anxiety, nervousness, like a emotional roller coaster. And here I definitely would recommend you grounding yourself through breathing exercises, through walking in the nature. You might like visiting some mountains, yeah, being in higher places with Uranus. And the moon or Uranus opposing IC, it can be even buying apartment in a high floor or in a skyscraper, or just move very often. Or basically your home becomes the hotels and airplanes due to your work, maybe. But yeah, also take magnesium. Magnesium helps to stabilize the nerves, the nervous system. Yeah, if Uranus squares your sun within the mentioned degrees, well, then you might feel big tension, right? Because you feel that there is something that needs to change, but someone oppresses you and you want to move, but not yet, maybe, yeah? Especially last year when there was this square between Uranus and Saturn, it's like, it's like a labor pain, right? Expecting the new life to come, but still you have to push it. And Saturn, who is very cautious and wants maintenance of to maintain the status quo, it's hard to feel truly liberated. But also try not to be too brutal, like with other people around you. Try to be still flexible, not to follow your impulses, but generally like enjoy the ride. Buckle up, but enjoy the ride, enjoy the changes in life, because they are here to make you feel more in tune with your true nature, liberated, independent, walk on your true life path with the right people for you, the ones who support you, living in the right place for you, working something that you truly love and excites, and something that really excites you. The next transit I want to talk about, it's truly a historical one. After 15 years in Capricorn, on the 23rd of March 2023, Pluto goes into Aquarius. That's the very first time since Pluto was discovered in 1930s that we will experience Pluto in Aquarius transit, which, by the way, will last for 20 years, up until 2044. Pluto is a very slow planet, so next year, 2023, he will manage to reach only 0 degree and 21st minute of Aquarius. Then immediately he will turn retrograde and go back to Capricorn to finish something in the last 3 degrees of Capricorn. But it's gonna be like a sneak peek, those several months in spring and the beginning of summer of 2023, when we will all collectively feel what does it mean to have Pluto in Aquarius. It is very important for you, dear Leo, because Pluto will be triggering and transiting and purging and cleansing your 7th house. You see, Saturn just moved out of here. Saturn is much more material planet, and he was also the god of, you know, life and death, mostly death, the grim in astrology before Pluto was discovered. But now Saturn works in more like the material world, right? So literally narrowing down your followers, your social circle, making it harder to form a true, honest, and warm connections with people, streamlining your relationships, making only the most faithful ones to stay, right? So fewer but truer people in your life. But now Pluto comes here and will act on even deeper level. making you think deeply about your needs in relationships. What do you need? What do you want? Where does it come from? What's the psychological reason of your fears to bond, to form relationships? And of course, you will feel it the most if your sun, moon, or rising sign happen to be in the very first degree of Leo, because later Leos will feel Pluto already. You have 20 more years to gradually go into Pluto realms. But now I'm talking more about the very early Leos. And of course, it's very significant to have Pluto on your descendant or opposing your sun or your moon. About ascendant, descendant, you should be very sure about your minute of birth to know specifically that it falls at 0 degree Leo and Aquarius. But remember that 7th house is the mirror. Those are the reflections of our subconsciousness. So there might be this process of when people act in a very Plutonian way, or you meet very Plutonian people here next year, for instance, or in the future for the next 20 years, people who are very powerful, very intense, very passionate, obsessive, jealous, secretive, rich people. Be careful with codependency. Be careful with devastating passion, because Plutonian passion, it's impossible to maintain whole life. It's so powerful, it burns you to the ground, like to ashes, right? Be careful from control issues and power struggles through relationships, through business or in personal life. Be careful of obsessive people, predators, dangerous people, right? Who can't let you go. But then maybe they show you your internal needs and fears and your subconscious fixed ideas or obsessions. On the other hand, maybe you will be meeting business partners who are very people who are very loyal. Generally, yeah, Pluto is very loyal. Business can be big, about big money, big deals. But again, just mind you not to fall into someone's trap of later like controlling you through money or feeling of safety or security. Pluto might, Pluto is generally very extreme planet. It's like all or nothing. So you might have either many relationships or very intensive one relationship, or you might decide that now you have to work on your own psychology and you're not ready yet to establish any relationship. So all or nothing. If it's relationship, it's gonna be like very deep, very intense, very serious, with total dedication. But don't cling to people. And yeah, others reflect your subconscious fears, desires, your talents as well, maybe. Pluto can liberate you from relationships that had trapped you until this moment, or from something too superficial. People with whom you communicate closely can trigger in you yours, or you might trigger in them their primal instincts, needs, and fears. Yeah, Pluto is like the animal behavior and instinct. When I was preparing for this video, I remember this movie 50 Shades of Grey, or this song Tainted Love, especially in the remix by Marilyn Manson. So this kind of intensity and in relationships you can expect while Pluto crosses your 7th house, but even more so when he is on your descendant. Pluto transits usually last for 2 years when he influences the most your natal positions, like ascendant, descendant. If we talk about, by the way, but 7th house can be also our enemies, so they can be very powerful here, very intense. Lawsuits, court cases, and there might be due to money, alimony, something like accusing someone of assault, sexual assault, for instance. You might really like go to court against someone who was controlling you, manipulating you, being a predator. You might also meet people who are deep into psychology. So maybe you will be working with psychologists or occultists. You might like some taboo topics or something more from the unknown world, you know. If Pluto opposes your sun, there might be fights for control. You might see people with ruthless ambitions. They might transform your ego and activate also your ambitions and survival instinct. There might be huge competition, like to the very end, basically. There might be fixations, domination issues, revengeful people, pressure. You might feel power struggles, conflicts and confrontations and pressure by others, but it's just them wanting to show you that you must grow, evolve, being reborn, being more of self-control and empowered, and quit these codependent relationships and find your own confidence and self-worth and take your life into your own hands, control. Someone might want to impose their will on you, or you might want to impose your will on them. Remember that Pluto will awaken in you this deep subconscious, maybe oftentimes difficult or nasty things. So you have to admit this possibility as well. And if your moon happened to be here at the beginning of Leo, then Pluto opposes your moon, and he might take on to the light your subconsciousness, your inner wounds, in order, of course, for you to face them, to be aware of them, to heal them, to achieve the self-mastery, self-control once again, but through a more difficult path, more painful path of meeting your vulnerabilities, insecurities, maybe paranoias. Maybe there will be this deep-rooted fears of abandonment, of losing of control, of losing of comfort, of your family support, maybe. So yeah, there might be also projections. So you project onto others your wishes and fears. They project onto you the same thing. So you have to be really reasonable, wise, careful in personal contacts and professional relationships with this transit. Of course, there might be some changes in family life, residency. You might become much more reactive, instinctive. Don't allow others to force you, to provoke in you sense of guilt, to manipulate you, to extort you, to project on you their internal issues. But yeah, basically throughout this transit, oh, by the way, Pluto with the moon, like opposition moon, can make you be like an X-ray person, like a profiler. You might feel people, you might be a bit clairvoyant, see the future, be extremely, extremely intuitive, and see the real motives of people. So maybe you will start working with secret services, police, profiling, you know, something like that. Maybe you will start helping people in crisis situations. Maybe you're a psychologist, with Saturn in 8th house, studying long years, deeply, philosophy and psychology, and already consulting others. So yeah, throughout this transit, Pluto can be or people rather, can be the catalyst in your life for deep personal realizations, insights, and changes. Okay, enough of the difficult stuff, even though we grow and evolve through the difficult stuff, right? But now let's go to the big benefic planet Jupiter. Next year, 2023, until the 17th of May, he will be crossing Aries. That's your 9th house, and Jupiter traditionally rules Sagittarius, who is the 9th sign from Aries, so that's the ruler of the 9th house. So Jupiter is like home here. He might expand your wish to study, to learn, to share your knowledge. Maybe it's enough of studies, but already time to teach, to publish, to show yourself as an expert, to become the leader, the idol, the guru for other people, the professionalist. You might be insatiable regarding traveling, deep philosophy, finding the meaning of life, your life direction. It's good news that Jupiter here induces you with optimism, with faith, with maybe even popularity. Jupiter represents celebrities, and 9th house is social events, conferences, gala dinners, award ceremonies. So you might shine in them and become very well known and recognized by being knowledgeable, by being generous, like larger than life, by being wise, by being noble. So you might meet some gurus, teachers, idols of yours. Jupiter here helps your self-expression and taking everything philosophically, which is great for such intense transits of Pluto and Saturn anyways, to know that everything that happens for the best. And Pluto, Jupiter helps you also like expand your knowledge, your horizons, and self-confidence, become more confident, expand your consciousness, and have very interesting worldview, meet people from abroad. Maybe you're finishing your degree, or you decide to go for a second bachelor or master degree, or you want to become a PhD, doctor of science, and so on. And then after the 17th of May, Jupiter goes into Taurus, and until the end of 2023, he will reach the 15th degree of Taurus. Here it's important to track when he will conjunct your MC, thus influencing, expanding even more so your career, your reputation, making you famous, popular, acknowledgeable, receive maybe some prize, make you move up the career ladder, have promotions, especially if it's work related to Jupiterian topics like tourism, travel, international relationships, law, education, publishing, philosophy, religion. Of course, Jupiter can promise too much, want too much, have too big and huge expectations. So be careful with that. But if you tend to generally underestimate yourself or be too self-critical, then Jupiter definitely here will help you grow and blossom. And it's going to feel really great. You will feel good about yourself. Your prosperity, your status can grow. So yes, you can become the boss, the manager, the leader, the owner of your own business, the owner of your own house. You can expand your living space. Your family members can grow in number. There might be children. Jupiter represents in Vedic astrology children. Also, he represents husband in female chart. So of course, there might be such deep transformations of personal relationships that you can get engaged, get married. Yeah, you might graduate, become experts. So basically, just great stimulation of your status, social status, and career. On the 31st of May, Jupiter will conjunct the North Node at 3 degrees of Taurus. So if you have here your MC around the 3 degrees of Taurus, that's going to be propelling you into the space, really. Such a powerful conjunction of the optimistic, expansive Jupiter, who is luck, who is success, who is recognition and awards, and the North Node, who is the material success, the karma moving us forward, the path of growth and evolution. So you can grow and evolve through career, through marriage, through travels, through foreigners, through juridical matters like lawsuits and court cases and so on. And talking about the lunar nodes, on the 18th of July, they change signs. The North Node, also known as Rahu in Vedic mythology, will move into Aries, and the South Node, also known as Ketu in Vedic mythology, will move into Libra. Honestly, like when we do natal chart analysis, when I do them for my clients, I love to talk to my clients about their natal positions of the nodes according to the sign and the house in your natal chart, because it gives you so much information about your comfort zone, your talents, the baggage you come from, past lives or first half of your life, and where you're headed, what you have to learn through trial and error, through falling and standing up again, what you are maybe greedy for, what you are obsessed with. So it's truly interesting. But in any case, even by transit, the social attention shifts every year and a half to different axes of two signs and different life topics, of course. And while the North Node shows where we are headed to and through what we learn and evolve and what is more active currently in the society or in your life, and the South Node shows basically what we lose interest in or what is not at the spotlight currently, what loses value, and where we have to dissolve things and let go. In your case, the nodes, after triggering your career and personal life for the last year and a half, now in July 2023, move into your axis of knowledge, of communication, of movement and traveling. And look at that, Rahu, the North Node, will be insatiable about experiences, about showing off yourself, sharing with the world your knowledge, your expertise, your opinions. In Hindu mythology, Rahu and Ketu used to be one demon, with a head, with a body, with a tail. He stole from the gods the elixir of immortality. So he became immortal. That's why he is now together with other deities on the sky, influencing us. But the gods realized the scam, and they got angry and they cut the demon into two halves. So now he has no body. He has just a constantly hungry mouth, which always has expectations, which is always like looking forward and wanting to try more and more different things, but it's never enough. And then there is the tail of the dragon, which has no logic, no thoughts, right? There is no head, but that's why he's very spiritual. And also he excretes, he lets go, he releases. So what you will aspire to in the next 1 year and a half will be higher knowledge, deepening the knowledge, expanding your consciousness, your horizon, everything we talked about when Jupiter was transiting here, the 9th house. He goes into your 10th house, but switches with Rahu, who comes into your 9th house to basically still make you want more knowledge, more experiences, more adventure, more travels. And the good thing about Rahu is that he can give you success overnight. It's like cutting corners, right? It's the opposite energy of Saturn, who is like hard work, patience, persistency, climbing up the mountain step by step. And here comes Rahu, and like you just publish some video or some article, and overnight you become successful. So if you want teaching profession, if you want to be a pilot, a tourist guide, a traveler, an explorer, if you want to be a celebrity, a blogger, if you want to write a book, then you should already start doing it, because then ninth house is going to be about publishing it and becoming successful and famous. You might meet a lot of foreigners, young people from exotic countries. You might constantly travel abroad, maybe for business, maybe for personal reasons. While there will be less attention to your closer environment, to your neighbors, to your extended family, to your neighborhood, to your region. No, now the attention will be more about faraway lands. Even maybe through books and through documentaries, you will feel inspired by some teachers and gurus. Just make sure they're not false teachers and false gurus, fake ones, who just also want riches and fame and recognition. But you yourself might become such one. But again, remember to be honest, humble, and very faithful. And if you propagate some worldviews, some principles, value systems, and knowledge, you have to be sure about it. Not to be just pretending, because Rahu and Ketu are very good at faking and pretending. Yeah, they were tricksters. This demon was a trickster. So he could melt, assimilate within different cultures. Yeah, so if you go abroad, you will become just like local. If you learn some other language, you will talk it without accent even, right? So you will like mingle with the foreigners. And of course, this transit speaks about less studies, less paying attention to the facts, to the dry knowledge, less gathering data, less of being a student and apprentice, and more being a master and a teacher. Less local environment, more international environment, less gadgets and mobile phones and applications, and maybe more live conferences and being on stage. Whatever are the nodes, the lunar nodes, there follow the eclipses. So let me tell you, we're going to have 4 eclipses in 2023. I'll just mention briefly now their dates and which areas of your life they will trigger. But of course, throughout 2023, if all goes well, and as we say in my country, if we all are alive and healthy, I plan to record separate videos, even more in depth, to discuss with you these events like the transits and retrogradations and eclipses. Okay, so for eclipses, we will have, first one will be at on the 20th of April, solar eclipse at 29 degrees Aries, squaring Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius with the North Node. Wow, that's going to be massive. New beginnings, big shifts in your personal life or relationships. It might be because of studies or relocation. It might be because of career or social status, really, like, you know, maybe marriages, divorces, acquiring property, or going to work abroad, something like this. I believe it's going to be huge for you. Then there is a lunar eclipse on the 5th of May with the South Node. Here with the South Node at 14 degrees of Scorpio. Well, that signifies big changes in your family, in your home, maybe releasing, letting go of something, maybe selling a property or renting a property in order to earn the money and go to live abroad or travel, cleaning the old space, maybe diving into old memories, doing a regression, constellation, forgiving to your parents, to your ancestors, something along these lines. Then there is a solar eclipse on the 14th of October with the South Node and with Mercury at 21 degrees Libra. So we're talking here maybe finalizing some paperwork, some trading activity, culmination in your small business or online projects, in the relationship with your siblings or relatives or neighbors. Maybe you end them or you go back to them to finish something, to close something, experience some closure. And then there is a lunar eclipse on the 28th of October with the North Node at 5 degrees Taurus. So very likely that it will happen in your 10th house of career, reputation, mission in life. So there might be celebrations like you retire or you go on maternity leave, right? Lunar eclipses endings or peak point. So maybe receiving a award for your business, for your company, and then you start planning your future direction for development, because here is also the North Node. All right, so now a couple of words about the other benefic planet, Venus, because she has an important transit next year. Usually Venus spends 1 month in each sign, unless when she is retrograde. And in 2023, she will be retrograde in Leo, in your sign. So overall, she will be in Leo for 4 months, 4 times longer than usual, from the 6th of June till the 10th of October. Remember these dates, because during these dates you will be glowing, shining, you will be so lovable, people will like you, and Leo likes to be liked, right? To be admired, to show yourself, to receive applauding and cheering from people, having admirers around you. So this is a great transit for confidence, for your charm, your inner and outer physical beauty, for feeling happy, for pampering yourself, feeling the pleasures and the joys of life with sensory experiences, good food, nice perfumes, good fabrics of your clothes. Maybe you will renew your wardrobe, your style, your clothes, your physical appearance. Maybe you will undergo some cosmetic beauty procedures. I think Venus will bless you with success in all sorts of initiatives and new beginnings in your life while she transits your first house, and especially when she will be transiting your ascendant, sun or moon. And Venus will be retrograde from the 23rd of July till the 4th of September, between the 12th and the 28th degrees of Leo. So certainly your personal positions and planets will be 3 times boosted by lovely Venus. But I must warn you, generally, while Venus is retrograde, it is not the best time to start something new and Venusian in your life. In your case, because she's in your first house and she represents beauty and good food and pleasures. So yeah, it might not be the best time to exactly do, while she's retrograde, any plastic surgeries, any new beauty procedures, experiment with completely new style, because you might later change your mind, change your opinion, not like it anymore once she goes again direct. It's not advisable to start a relationship while Venus is retrograde, because you might get a bit confused, be with this rose-colored glasses and not see clearly your partner, or your partner might not see clearly you. You might just be like a charming angel, and later there might be big disappointment, just because reality can hit us hard. Yeah, Venus retrograde is not the best time to make some big purchases, buy something expensive, especially spontaneously, like, oh my God, there is such a good deal, I have to buy it. No, well, unless it's something secondhand, retro, vintage, recycled, or antique. then you might come across a good deal when someone resells something antique, for instance. You can sell things. Maybe you want to get rid of some old clothes and you can just give them to charity or sell them cheap. Don't sign important agreements money-wise, and also it's not the best time while Venus is retrograde to get married. I mean, you can have the wedding ceremony for sure, especially if it's a bit more vintage style, but not exactly to sign the document of the marriage. Because once again, there might be then change of plan, disappointments, realization of something, reassessment, reevaluation, and it will be harder to deal with it. Most probably next time Venus will be again retrograde, for instance, or next time she will come again to your sign, or next time she will conjunct the sun in your sign, because by the way, there is a beautiful date on the 13th of August. Venus retrograde will conjunct the sun, which for Venus is like her own new moon. New Venusian cycle starts this time in Leo, in your sign, and it will last for the next 19 months until the next Venus conjunction with the sun in another sign already. But Venus and Sun meet every 4 years in your sign. Once it's an inferior conjunction, like a new moon, and once it's a superior conjunction, like a full moon, like a culmination. So this day, she will be exalted because she will be at the heart of the sun on the 13th of August, and a lot of Venusian topics will gain more clarity and more dignity. So you might see on this day things very clear. And yeah, so what is Venus retrograde generally good for? Well, to compare things, to research things, especially if you want to buy something, to negotiate before signing a contract, to prepare, to finish, maybe finish some beauty procedures, diet. Maybe you'll decide to stop sugars because Venus is everything sweet. Maybe you will reassess your budget, your finances overall. Yeah, reassessment, repairs, doing something for second time. Yeah, because if you had already a plastic surgery, you didn't like it, you want to fix something, that okay, Venus retrograde is good for second attempt, second chance. Also, because Venus talks about values. Venus rules Taurus, Venus rules the second house. When we give value to things, when we prioritize, when we establish our value system, what's the most important in life? What is the price of things, of people, of my time, my efforts, how much I charge for my knowledge, my work, my services and goods, right? So here in first house, while Venus will be retrograde, you can ask yourself questions like, am I happy in my relationships, in my body? What I value about my body? What I don't like about my physical appearance and in my health? Can I fix it somehow in a pleasant manner, like in a group with other women, maybe yoga, stretching, Pilates? Am I valued in my relationships? Do I feel content, happy, satisfied? Do I spend enough money on me, or am I too self-indulgent? What are my priorities in life? Yeah, first house is the beginning of all the chart, of all the new beginnings. So with Venus in first house, you can start everything, a business, a relationship. But while she's retrograde, plan. Think about it, evaluate what's on the table now for you, what's most important. Can you say no to people? Can you establish boundaries? Maybe it's enough to support others' comments on you and depend on others' opinions on you and evaluation. Maybe you should be your own self-esteem and confidence meter and know your own values. So yeah, first house is the ego, and here Venus can really boost your ego, hopefully in a very healthy manner. And you must decide what, like, basically put priorities in your life and how to value yourself, no matter the public opinion. And finally, Mercury will be retrograde 3 times next year, from 21st of April till 15th of May, in Taurus, in your 10th house. So you will be maybe reassessing or preparing for some career changes or signing some important work contracts and agreements, maybe finishing some work duties. Reassessing your life goals and mission in life. Then from 23rd of August till the 15th of September, Mercury will retrograde in Virgo. So revising your budget and maybe searching the market for a new job or to buy or sell something. Second chance for work interviews, for instance. And then from the 13th of December till the 1st of January 2024, Mercury will retrograde from Capricorn into Sagittarius. So helping you restructure your daily routine, work environment, work projects, maybe finishing something here, going back to some old health habits, getting rid of bad habits, reestablish communication with some lovers from the past, with your children, getting back to some old hobbies, rearranging your private business maybe. So yes, my dear Leos, this was the general forecast for you for 2023. You see that once even Pluto moves in Aquarius, in your 7th house, then all the big planets, the heavy, slow planets, will be transforming your public life, your image, your role in society, right? Through profession, through your knowledge and opinions, through your private and personal relationships, maybe business. Yeah, remember also that the North Node will be this year boosting your career and expanding yourself, your knowledge, your horizons, exploring the world, meeting people from different cultures. So it's not going to be so much about your inner world, about your closer environment, family, but more about maybe even business and society, your role in the society. Of course, my dear Leos, this was a general forecast, but as you can see, I'm truly trying to make it as personal as possible with all these degrees and references about the past transits and so on. But here is the time for me to share with you that I offer astrological consultations, of course. I offer 2 of them. I like to keep it basic but deep. One of them is natal chart analysis, because everything in life can be seen through your natal chart, including the transits and the forecasting about the future. Natal charts are like our unique fingerprints. It's like in it you read the soul contract that your soul signed when it decided to reincarnate in your body, in your family, in your city, in your environment, your society, in this lifetime, this era, this epoch of history. So, of course, all of this forms your own life experience, your character, your attitudes to life. And we'd like to call it destiny, but it's actually everything here inside of you. It's the microcosmos within the macrocosmos, micro and macro, right? So natal charts are amazing. Like you can see there the talents, the aspirations, the needs, the pains, the challenges, the blockages of people following their true life path, their mission. And by the way, it's not only one, it's never only one. My astrology work is not fatalistic. I don't believe we're anymore in medieval society. We don't have caste systems. I believe in the bigger part of the world, we have the free will, and no one a fortune teller and nor astrologer can tell you that for sure you will have 3 marriages, no children, 5 dogs, 2 cows. So I don't operate with concepts of always or never, like someone will never have children or always do this and that. No, awareness, knowledge is power. So once you're aware about some more challenging things, some things you might wait for longer, for some things you might experiment, for some things you might be more traditional, for some things you might be more open-minded and free. So I mean, it's amazing, it's beautiful. For me, astrologers are like your psychologist in a sense. And of course, clients must be very honest and very open with astrologers, because once again, astrology is not fortune telling. Yes, it has forecasting. I don't even call it predictive, because prediction means that something will happen 100%, like I call it with these words, black on white. While for me, astrology is not like this. It's like a weather forecast. Yes, it might tell you, okay, like next year, it might rain, right? There will be some rainy months. And for some people, that means that they can go out and dance under the rain. And while they dance, they might meet another person who enjoys the rain and dances as well. And then you two form a couple, and there is like happily ever after, or not. But for another person, this warning that, hey, it's going to be raining next year in this and this areas of your life. And the person is like, oh, I have a hole in my ceiling, so I better prepare for this rainy month or season by repairing my foundation, my home, right? So then for one person, rain means one thing by forecast, and for another person, it means another thing. So that is why it's so important to work with individuals, with individual natal charts. And talking about forecasting, yes, I do yearly forecast for 12 months ahead. You can purchase it at any moment of the year. Some people like to do it before a new calendar year starts. In my opinion, it's even wiser and better to purchase a 12-month forecast around your birthday. So I can focus on the year between your birthday and your next birthday, your personal natal new year. Every year of our life is different. Every year, according to different astrological techniques for forecasting, different areas of life are triggered, different areas of natal charts are active, the planets, the rulers, the aspects. It's amazing, and it requires a lot of studies, a lot of practice, a lot of analysis, calculation. So my forecasts, I do them in a written form. If the natal chart analysis we discuss via Skype with my clients, live Skype meeting with a video from my end, at least, because I share my screen. I point you with the mouse what I'm talking about. We have a dialogue, right? We discuss things. And then the forecast I deliver in a written form, for which I'm preparing for 3 days. 3 days I'm calculating, analyzing, because I write all my thoughts. I write my forecast, the influence of the planets, the explanation of what does it mean for you, the possibilities of how can it play out, and I give all the possibilities. You see, like, for instance, 3rd house can be a vehicle, it can be siblings, it can be local environment, it can be studies, it can be online business. So really depends so much on you and your circumstances. Maybe you don't have siblings, maybe you don't have online business, right? But you're planning to buy a car. So this is how it gets more narrow and more personal already. So it's very important to share with your astrologer everything. So the astrologer doesn't have to guess, but still, I like to give variety of possibilities of events happening in your life, like in the next 12 months. Don't worry, in my case, I believe that astrologer is truly like your lawyer or like your psychologist. So whatever you share is not coming out later to say about, oh yeah, Mary Jane told me this, and she experiences this and this. Of course, some astrologers do lessons and classes, they teach, and then they ask for permission of people without mentioning their names to just share their charts, for example, as examples or life stories, and so on. So I like to give suggestions of how to use in the best way what's in storage for you for the year ahead. Of course, I give advices, I give warnings. Yes, some periods are tougher. Sometimes it's even most of the times it's a mixed bag. So in some area of life, there is Jupiter expanding and happiness. In another area of life, you have to, keep it lower profile, or have patience, or work hard. Sometimes they intersect, sometimes they don't. So yeah, I mean, every case is so unique and so different. And at the end, I deliver you, I send you via email, WhatsApp, Skype, or wherever, 10 pages Word file. 10 pages is like not for only one reading. It's much more than 1 hour chat, right, with astrologer. People are printing my forecasts, then they keep them on the working space table or near their bed. They reread them as the year progresses. They mark with colorful pencils or markers the key dates, the key events, right? So as one client said, my forecasts are usually like reports for all this upcoming period. I mean, it's a whole year, it's 12 months, a lot of things might happen, or maybe not so much, really. There's some years with pivotal events and life-changing events. Some years are calmer in that sense. And it's just important to know that knowledge is power, forewarned, forearmed, and that you always have willpower. You always know how to, it's your way how you react on things and how you take the lemons or other fruits that life gives you and make out of them a lemonade or a cake, right? I have a Leo rising. I have this innate kind of passion and optimism for the best possible development of things. I truly believe in this. And my Jupiter is in my 9th house. So it's like, it's always looking forward for the bright side of the things. So my dear friends, my dear Leos, I wish you a fantastic 2023. May it be abundant for you. May the right people be next to you and share your passion, your vision in life, give you love, give you support, be confident in yourself, use all the events, all the changes for your advantage. I hope you will enjoy the year. I hope you will grow and evolve in 2023. Take good care of yourself, stay healthy, and I talk to you soon, dear Leos. Bye-bye.